Hey guys, I'm Stacy and this is Gorgeously Aging, and today is my 2-week post-gastric sleeve surgery update. So I wanted to fill you guys in on everything that's been going on, how I've been feeling, the pros, the cons, what my diet will consist of now in the 3rd week after gastric sleeve surgery, and what my total weight loss has been, including what my starting weight was, which to be really honest, I'm kind of embarrassed to say. I've never even told my husband what my heaviest weight was and what my current weight is and what my goal is. Now, my goal isn't so much about weight, but I am looking at what's recommended for a healthy BMI, which I think the BMI chart is kind of ridiculously low. But I will share what it says that I should be for a healthy woman that is 5'10". Now, I used to be 5'11" in high school, but I think I've shrunk a bit with age because they're telling me I'm 5'10" now. So I am quite tall. But I'm going to get into all the nitty gritty and tell you what my heaviest weight was, what my current weight is now, and what my goals are since having gastric sleeve surgery. So 2 weeks out, I am feeling much better and sleeping much better at night. In the first week, it was tough to sleep because every time you moved around, you could kind of feel that in your abdomen where the incisions were. It is a robotic, or mine was a robotic laparoscopic surgery. So there were 5 incisions made laparoscopically for the instruments to go in and for the surgery to be done. In sleeping the days following the surgery, it was tough to move around, tough to get a good night's sleep. But by the end of that first week, I was sleeping so much better. Now, I will say one of the things that I've noticed a lot is just low energy. In that first couple of weeks when you're consuming only a liquid diet, you're getting about 400 to 600 calories a day, consisting of protein drinks and water. So I have definitely found some protein drinks that I think are better than others. I really like the Fairlife chocolate 30 grams of protein shake. I also like the Only What You Need brand. And there's one that's a no nut, it's like a no nut kind of copy of a Reese's type flavor, and I really like that. I'll put an image of these on the screen so you can kind of see what I'm talking about and link them in the description box below. I used to be a big lover of the Premier protein drinks, but I find that they taste artificially sweet or overly sweetened with artificial sweetener, and these other ones that I'm drinking now, I feel like for me, they just taste better. Now, I really like regular water, but I have moved on just for a variety since I'm not eating solid foods to having some sugar-free Mio drops, not the caffeinated because you don't want caffeine on the stomach as it's healing. And I also use some Crystal Light, but really try to drink as much just flavorless water, regular water as I can. I'm also drinking some herbal tea, and this is nice to have a hot treat. So in the morning, I'm drinking like a cinnamon herbal tea, maybe even later in the afternoon if I need something that's just not flavorless water or something warm. Also, chicken broth has been something I've enjoyed, and rather than drinking it straight from the box, I usually put it in a pan and add some seasonings, a little bit of garlic, salt, pepper, whatever seasonings you like. And then by cooking it and letting it simmer for a while, some of that water evaporates and it has a little bit richer flavor. So if you're drinking broth right out of the box or can and you like it that way, that's fantastic. For me, I also felt like I was getting back to cooking a little bit, which breaks up the boredom. And I love the flavor of adding the spices that I like. So now that 2 weeks have passed on a liquid diet, I'm moving on to a pureed diet next week, and I'm really excited to have things like pureed beans, pureed chickpeas. You can puree pretty much anything, but I'm going to stick to what's recommended: cottage cheese, beans, some chicken, maybe with a little extra broth, thin it out a bit so it's not too thick. But the important part during the pureed phase is that it's not lumpy and bumpy, and it's that it's things that are high in protein and give you the nourishment that you need. I do have some potatoes that I'm going to mix with a little bit of unflavored protein powder just to get something in my system that isn't liquid. Now, I have to say, this isn't a walk in the park, and for anybody that says a gastric sleeve is the easy way out, you have to commit to the diet they lay out for you. It does get a little boring, I'm not going to lie. I think the things that we don't realize is just how much food consumption is going on around us, and it does take a lot of willpower, focus on success, and just focus on not wanting to damage that healing stomach. The volume that's going into this newly created stomach pouch is about 1/4 to 1/2 cup every few hours. So instead of eating 3 meals a day or 2 meals a day, it's 5 or 6 small, tiny meals per day. This gives that stomach a chance to heal, but also allows you to get enough calories and protein in since you're only consuming a quarter to half a cup. So the pros of having gastric sleeve surgery, once you get over the discomfort in those first couple of weeks, and I'm still healing, so there are times where I still feel some discomfort, but the pros are definitely that you don't feel hunger. And when I say hunger, I mean physical hunger from the stomach. Now, one of the things that we kind of forget about, I think most of us don't always distinguish between the actual physical hunger and the head hunger, being mentally hungry. And I had never really thought about that much until this last couple of weeks. Because there were times where I was like, gosh, I'm hungry, or gosh, I would like something to eat right now. And I wasn't actually physically hungry in my stomach. It was more like head hungry. And I think sometimes that comes from boredom or just times where we normally would reach for a snack or something. We think we're hungry or we think we need that snack, but it's really just more mental than it is actual physical hunger. So getting back to the pro, it is like I don't feel physical hunger. And maybe that is because I'm consuming a small amount of food every couple of hours, and in between I'm having water, and that keeps me feeling satiated. The other aspect of that is with a reduced stomach size, your hormone that signals hunger is also reduced. So initially when you're healing, and I'm told that this goes away after a time, that you do start to feel hungry again at some point. I'm told that around 3 months, you definitely start to feel more hunger. So I'm not complaining at not feeling hungry. I think that's one of the reasons why the liquid diet isn't unbearable and miserable. The cons, of course, are going through this healing phase. The cons, of course, are going through the surgery healing. You know, it's not a walk in the park. It does hurt. It is uncomfortable. It takes a little time. After 3 days, things start getting better each day. And now at 2 weeks, I'm feeling much better. The energy, of course, it's going to take time for that to resume because I am eating so few calories. I'm told between 8 to 12 weeks is when your energy starts to come back. After surgery, you're in an extreme calorie deficit, and so much of your energy is going towards healing the body, and you're having so few calories. So even just to function your basal metabolic rate, you're going to be a little tired. I think another con, of course, is not eating with my family, which has always been a really important part of the day for me. And right now they're kind of eating by themselves, and I'm usually going to the bedroom and watching TV or reading a book. And it's not because I can't sit there and watch them eat. It's just something feels off about it for me right now. And now that I'm moving into pureed food, I'm definitely going to try to sit with them more as we eat together, just because I'm feeling a little lonely with that loss of mealtime kind of camaraderie and talking about what's going on. I think there's this feeling of when you're at the table with your family and they're eating normal food. For me personally, it's not a feeling of I want that or I'm hungry for that. It's kind of a feeling of being left out. It's an odd emotional kind of feeling. And I think that'll pass as I start eating more pureed food, and then into the 4th week is soft food. So it's just a matter of time until I get back to eating normal food in small quantities. And then I'll feel like I can sit and enjoy my food and just eat slowly, but be there with my family and talk to them during the time of day where we're all kind of talking about what's going on. Another con that I've noticed, and it's kind of an emotional process, is just realizing how food and alcohol forward life is. And these are things that alcohol is something that I'm not having in my life. And especially after you've had gastric sleeve, you can't drink alcohol. My doctor said forever, but many doctors will say for 6 months. And you realize when you're not really eating like other people are eating or the volume that people are eating, and you're not drinking and you're not having coffee, like I'm not having coffee right now, which is something I love, you kind of realize how prevalent these things are in life. Like, you know, running through Starbucks, or for some people having an after dinner drink, or just food in general. People bring treats to the office, and life is so food focused. And, you know, we celebrate with food. We go out to dinners, you know, to have date nights. So much is focused around food. And I'm kind of processing that emotion right now about how food focused just life is in general. And I think I remind myself that I want to eat to live, not live to eat. And that's not saying I hope I don't go on a date night and have some small portion of food with my husband in the future, but I'm hoping that I can recreate a life that isn't so food focused, and that not everything has to be about, running out to get lunch or just prioritizing food too much. So my daughter had a graduation party, and this was the first time that I had to go out in a social function, and it was just a few days ago, so I wasn't quite 2 weeks out of surgery. I was tired, but I brought my water and I brought my Propel drink, which is a flavored water with some electrolytes. And I had a little bit of protein drink before I went. And it really wasn't hard watching other people drink, but there is that kind of social feeling of being left out. So although it wasn't hard, I wasn't starving, I wasn't jealous that I couldn't eat, I wasn't envious or drooling over other people's plates. There's just kind of that feeling like you don't fit or you feel left out. And I know that'll pass in time. So I still enjoyed myself, but I did leave after a couple of hours. There was a lot of drinking and a lot of eating, and I was exhausted. So we knew that, I probably wouldn't be able to stay on my feet and, enjoy myself for too long, but 2 hours was just enough. Now I am walking 30 minutes every day, and sometimes I'll take an additional walk in the evening, not long, but a little after dinner walk with my husband. Last night was half a mile, some of it downhill, some of it uphill. And each time it's easier and it feels better. As far as weight loss, you guys, I'm going to tell you my heaviest weight. I've not told anybody this except for my doctor knows this. Not even my husband knows this, but at my heaviest after Drew passed away, I was 239 pounds. Now, I know for some people that are dealing with much more weight gain than that, they think they would love to be 239 pounds. So I'm grateful for the body that I have and for what it's provided me. But for me, I was getting sick, high blood pressure, fatigue, couldn't breathe well, just a lot of health things going on. I'm 5'10", so I am tall. I've never admitted that. My highest weight was 239. So to date, I've lost 25.9 pounds, 2 weeks post-surgery. I did have 1 week of liquid diet leading up to surgery, so I would say that's a 3-week time period. So that 25.9 pounds equates to 10.8% of my body mass lost, and I'm currently at 213.1 pounds. Now, on the BMI chart, I should weigh around 170 pounds, which on my 5'10" frame, I think would be very, very thin. So, for health reasons, I'd like to get closer to that healthy BMI, but if I got down to 180, I think that would be really good for me, and I would look quite thin at that weight as well. So we have to consider our height and our bone structure and our frame, and I think, 180 would be great. If I get down to 170, fantastic, but I also don't want to be too skinny. So if my health improves and my blood pressure is already way down, which is incredible. So 2 weeks later, I went from high blood pressure to now pretty normal blood pressure, and I'm thrilled about that. So just looking forward to all those other health markers falling in suit and being more comfortable in my skin, feeling more confident, and just living life, taking my life back. So I'm well on my way. I'm feeling much more confident, and I can't wait to do the things with my family that I used to always love to do that I have stopped doing because of grief and weight gain. So thank you so much for the supportive words in my previous posts and just for being there. For those of you out there going through your own weight loss journey, I'm wishing you the absolute best. And if I can help in any way, please comment down below. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys in my next video. Be good to yourselves and to others.